Mare is a VR puzzle adventure game developed and published by Lone Kite Games and initially released on January 7th of 2021 for MetaQuest, March 17th of 2022 for PC VR, and November 18th of 2024 for PSVR 2. Mare is heavily inspired by Fumito Ueda's games Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian by the game's artistic style, how the narrative is told, and the overall design. Hui Gurairo, who worked on 2016's The Last Guardian and 2019's Vane, created Mare as sort of an evolution and rebirth of his last projects. Artistically expressive and buoyantly foreboding, Mare is able to convey a confusing yet intriguing and intimate tale between a mysterious young girl and a mechanical bird that is relentlessly trying to help her. The story starts with a robotic bird watching over a sea of clouds when multiple hot air balloons carrying large bombs start to sail overhead. The bird is able to send out smaller avian birds to attack them, setting them off early and blowing up in the sky. The robotic bird that you control seems to be tethered to weather vane-like structures as it glides from location to location and takes out bombs almost as if it is protecting something. Eventually, a balloon bearing a large capsule sternly drapes the horizon. Failed attempts to take it down causes the bird to give chase over a chaotic sea. The violent storm doesn't do the machine any favors, and unfortunately, the unfeathered beast plummets into the depths of the ocean, seemingly failing its mission. Hours later, it reaches the shore in which the capsule was released, and has now been opened with what appears to be a lost sweet girl in a red dress inside. Now, as the bird, you must help the girl traverse this strange land that houses many dangers across a ruined landscape. The story of the game isn't straight up told to you. The only talking in the game is done by the girl, and she speaks an unintelligible language. A lot of it is left up to interpretation, and that is on purpose. Just like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian, the overall narrative is incredibly vague, and through environmental storytelling, you can sort of piece together similar elements here and there. Even after the climatic ending, the game leaves you with more questions than answers, but a lot of the fun with stories like this is speculating what is actually going on and trying to come up with something coherent. The gameplay is very simple, but there are some crafty tricks to some of the more puzzling problems you'll come up against. As the bird, the only thing you could do is look around and fly to different set locations, but the girl feels safe around you, so she will constantly follow. The crux of the game is helping out the girl so she can help you and vice versa. As you enter a room with the girl, you may have to fly to a nearby weather vane so she follows you. Then you may have to fly back so she opens a door that will reveal another weather vane. Or maybe you will have to zigzag between positions so she climbs a certain staircase that will lead you to where you need to go. Sometimes you may need to use your electricity powers to light up a fire, ring a bell to get the girl's attention, or to ward off shadowy enemies. There are collectible statues in the game which will take up a lot of your time if you go for them, as they can be pretty tricky to obtain. Some of them involve you going between environments in order for the girl to navigate properly through the maze of destroyed buildings correctly to collect them. The game is relatively easy as there is really only one way to go. Because of this, the game can feel pretty slow at times as you move back and forth from point to point, but the vistas you come across are quite beautiful. The slow burn is by design, and the hollowness of the world is supposed to emit an eerie feeling and somewhat peaceful emotion at the same time. The graphical style of Mare is very painterly and intentionally disorderly. The abstract design is very charismatic and gives the game a lot of character. The vibe that the game exudes through sophisticated art is very unique and hard to find in a video game format. The audio design is splendid and just as you think it would be. Vacant areas echo short bursts of winds, and there is a squeak of shifting metal while hopping from vein to vein. Mystical sounds and vibrating chimes are abundant, and the girl's excited speech while trying to get the attention of her soldered airborne keeper is adorable. The soundtrack has many haunting and lonely pieces that are perfectly integrated with the core of what makes Mare special. As a huge fan of Ueda's work, I know I was going to love Mare. The flow and nature of the game is entertaining and pleasantly bittersweet with how the narrative unfolds. The graphics and audio help the game immensely at achieving its ambiance. The actual haptics while in VR is really great too. The vibrations with the headset and feedback of the triggers feel great. As sensational as Mare is, it left me wanting more. The unhurried pace and lack of actual movement made me want to explore and be in this world even more. I also wish there was a little more involvement with the eye tracking feature. I thought there were going to be some cool surprises while playing through eye tracking or just while controlling the bird in general, but the super straightforwardness of the game proved me wrong. Nonetheless, Mare is an exceptional, bewildering gaming experience that you don't want to miss. I give Mare an 8 out of 10.